Hello, my name is Dave Dugas, President of DE Systems, and today we'll be looking at a key component of MyConference Suite's event management platform, MyAbstracts. MyAbstracts is a robust abstract management system used for the process of accepting and preparing abstracts for presentation at an academic conference. The abstract typically states the hypothesis, tools used in the research or investigation, the data collected, and a summary or interpretation of the data. The platform empowers event organizers to decide on which content will be accepted for presentations or posters at their conference. With me today is Bob Gordon, our VP of Software Development at DE Systems. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. So can you briefly describe for me the process MyConference Suite provides planners as it relates to abstract management?
Yeah, the abstract management, the abstract tool is a comprehensive item in the Conference Suite packages that allows for submission collection for your conference or event. It provides that opportunity for people to submit presentation ideas, go through that review process to build the concept of what your content is going to be at your conference. It also allows reviewers to go in and grade, peer review, whether it's blinded or not, and then allows facilitators to then determine at the end of it, these are the submissions that are going to build the conference content. And you can then schedule all that information and build out what people are going to participate in for their event.
So how does the submission process work? And, is there any customization or formats that are offered for submission?
Yeah, the abstract module is completely customizable. What we're looking at here on screen right now is setup that we have for a client currently. And this is kind of like just the landing page, a login page. And it's completely customizable for look and for the questions that you ask as part of the submission process. For them, this is a branding that they've chosen. This is what they're looking for. And you can put all this content on here. And what you see is just a simple kind of access to log into the site to be able to see those details. And as soon as you log in, you're presented with a basic breakdown of here's some general information. On the landing page, you have a menu where different options become available, whether you're an author or a submitter, whether you're a reviewer or a chair. We have different options that will appear in that menu based on the type of user account that you have. And this is all, of course, controlled by an admin area. But what you see when you want to submit is a form that's built completely by what your requirements are. And we can put condition logic, we can break it into pages, or we can have it as a simple form. For this client in particular, they have a comprehensive breakdown for their submission process, which requires several pages to do their submission. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can have completely comprehensive questions. You can ask 50 different questions if you want, or you can have something simple that's only like select your theme, select your type, and input your abstract and title.
All right. So I suppose you can accept file types like videos and PowerPoint presentations. Any file type, I guess, would be accepted. In addition to standard straight text.
Yeah. So one of the things that you can really do is that we allow for as many file types as file inputs as you need. You can have a comprehensive breakdown of, you're asking just a standard text question or you're requiring a specific file. And we can control that file to determine whether you're looking for just like an image or a PDF or an audio file or a video file. You can control that level of those options specifically for your setup. So you say that you need your presentation uploaded as part of the process. You can specify that you're looking for an MP4 type of file, which is great now with all the virtual stuff that's going on. You can ask presenters after they've been accepted to upload their final presentation. So you can start with the abstract process. Then once you go through that review and grading thing, you can add on different questions. And those questions can be controlled based on the parameters that you require for your presentation details.
All right. So now, the event organizer has collected all these abstracts. It's got all this content that it now needs to kind of sift through and review. Do you want to talk a little bit about the, maybe the back-end admin and the review process in specific? How does the review work, and what is the next step for the event organizer as it relates to all this content?
Right. So, you always have different ways that stuff can be reviewed in your system. And the nice part about our platform is that we allow for as much comprehensive grading as you require, review schemes, I guess you could call them, as required. So if you happen to have different requirements based on, a certain theme or the type of submission, you can control that by having as many grading forms as you need that apply specifically to those filters as required. So you can say, yeah, I've got I have a poster submission. Posters get reviewed with these types of questions, and they have this type of grading breakdown. But your oral presentations or your lightning talks, those can be graded under a completely different scheme. Again, every one of the questions is customizable to your requirements. And what you can do is that you can control these questions, and they can have different weights and values attached to them. So as you can see here, we've got this setup for this that shows what we call the scale type of question. And you can associate a point value to the scale row or to the column, and then attach another point value to the row. So you could say that, action impact, it's worth 5 points overall, but background is worth 20. And you can put all those weights on to determine how a final grade would appear. You can set it up too that reviewing is automatically applied, so that, based on the reviewers you have in your system, you can say, okay, well, once this submission comes in, make sure it gets applied to this group or to this group. And reviews, I know, can be quite comprehensive, and everybody's got a different way. So the way we've set up our system is that you can have an open review process or a closed review process where reviewers can see all submissions, or reviewers can only see submissions specifically attached to them. And that can be taken a step further, where you can filter it based on, your theme or type. You can say, this group of reviewers gets to review these themed submissions. So the tool is really powerful for letting you control how or who gets to review the details. And it even goes so far as you can have everything blinded, but the system allows you to choose which fields from your submission process are actually viewed by the reviewer. And you can change it too if you happen to have a chair process. That's something that's a little bit more comprehensive, but that allows that person to kind of act like an admin overall. And once you go through that review process, the chair can either accept a final grade, or the admin can go in and just mark off submissions as saying as passed, failed, or on standby. And each one of those levels has different actions once the submission phase passes out and goes to what we call the second phase of, it's either a paper stage or a presentation stage. That accepted submissions can upload more details. Not accepted submissions can't do anything else, but standbys can be in that little bit of a mixed area where they could still upload some stuff, but just on that wait list in case another submission cancels.
Okay, so is there a way for us to, I think there's a grading summary area where we can see all the grades and all the scores, all the reviewers, all the incompleted. Yeah, so that's, this is the grade tool. I guess this is where event organizers are just going to click the papers that they're accepting for final grading.
Yep, they can just click which ones they want to accept, and they can select the grade that they want, and then they can select pass, fail, standby, or put it under review again.
And those grades are clickable, so you can see which reviewers have finished their reviews and which ones haven't.
Yeah, so once a reviewer actually finishes, it shows you that breakdown of who did what, when they did it, and what all that breakdown was. It just shows you a quick summary of, these are the values that they input, but you can go even further to see how they actually filled out the whole form. What's nice about all that too is that, you can actually see if somebody, how somebody's been doing all their reviews or who hasn't been doing their reviews. And let me just give you a breakdown of an event that's actually doing a bunch of reviews right now. What they're going through is a multi-tiered review process. So they have a first list of submissions, and then they open it up for a second phase of submissions. In their first phase, they're only accepting people who will do oral presentations on site, but they close that off at a certain point and then still leave the submission phase open for people to submit just posters. And that's great too, because you're not just kind of you're leaving it open for people who are still doing their research and being able to get in and pump out their information so that it still becomes relevant to your conference and people are interested in seeing what the latest information is. So we can take a look here and see, here's a breakdown of all the reviewers that are in the system. And here's a associated list of submissions that have been assigned to them for their review and how many reviews they've actually completed. So you can see in this list, the majority of people have completed all their reviews. There's still just maybe one or two that haven't been done. But this gives you that kind of overview breakdown real quick. And then if we go to the bulk grade, we can see what's been reviewed, what hasn't been reviewed, and all that summary synopsis breakdown. As you can see here, this submission has had one of the two reviewers complete their review, and then you can go in and do a breakdown and see who answered what and when they answered it.
Which leads me to the next question, which is about communication. So if I submit an abstract, I get an auto email that tells me that that the abstract has been received. If I'm a reviewer, I get an email that says, there's a paper that's been assigned for you to review. I'm assuming I can get a reminder if I haven't been doing my reviews. Does that cover the extent of the communications? I guess the acceptance as well?
Yeah, so you can go, you can send out as many communications as you need. And as you outlined, the basic communication always starts with the submission notification. When you've created a submission, you receive a notification from the system saying, hey, thanks for submitting. We're going to be in touch. Again, those details are all customizable, allow for whatever you want to put in that confirmation email. But once you kind of go through that process of starting to assign submissions, you can have reviewers receive notifications saying, hey, you know what, there's a submission that's for your review. Go to the system and review it. But once you go through that process of, once they've been reviewed and you've set the final grades, you can send out the email blast to notify everybody whether they've been accepted or not accepted, or those who have been on standby. And you can control this based on like a filter option that we have as part of the email system, which allows you to kind of go even further. So you sometimes you want to inform people who have submitted an oral presentation that they've been accepted for an oral presentation, and you can provide more custom details based on that response. So you can create a filter which allows you to say, you know what, I only want to send the people who have been accepted for their accepted format of, let's say, the on-site. And then you can select your email that you want to do, and then you can preview that email so you can see how many people would be emailed, what the details would be as part of that email, and how it breaks down.
That's great, Bob. Reporting. What are some of the most commonly accessed reports that event organizers are grabbing off the system?
Yeah, the biggest ones that everybody always goes for is the complete abstract information. What everybody has filled out as part of that form. And all these reports that we generate in the system, they're all generated as a CSV or an Excel type file that you can easily open in any spreadsheet application. But we also have other types of formats, like publication formats for PDFs or Word docs. But the most common that everybody's looking for is the abstract information, the grading information, who's done the review, who hasn't done the review. And then once you've gone through all that, it's the publication reports, setting up the publication so that, setting up the output so that accepted submissions go into a nice Word format or a PDF format that you can use to then publish on your website.
Yeah. Scheduling and publications, which brings us to publications as well. I know the e-poster module has been an excellent presentation tool, especially with our virtual platform. Can you describe for us a little bit about the scheduling and the e-poster capabilities?
Sure. The the scheduling aspect of the system allows you to build out what your conference schedule would be. So once you've finished your grading phase, all the accepted submissions go into this pool of items that can be scheduled for your conference. And you can start by building an actual schedule. So you go to your schedule builder and you can start defining your the days when your event takes place, and it breaks down by not just by day, but you can break it into groups if you wanted to. So you can say that it's it's day one, and then you specify a day, when it actually is, what the start time is, and start end time is. But you can break those up into comprehensive blocks, as many as you need. And then once you've built that, what creates is a grid system in the schedule setup that allows you to allocate the submissions accordingly. I'll show you an event that has this.
I assume you can build rooms as well.
Yeah, so part of that is that you build out your days and your when everything's taking place, but then you also build out your locations. So you can define like, okay, room 1, room 2, room 3, room 4. For this setup, for this group in particular, they split it up because they're doing everything virtually into webinar block 1, webinar block 2, webinar block 3, webinar 4. And once you've created your idea of what the event or what your schedule is going to be, what breaks down is this grid that allows you to drag and drop information around the system. So you can see a list of all the items that are available. They've scheduled absolutely everything that's been accepted. So there's nothing here in the things to schedule, but you can also have additional items. So let's say that you've created, like you've got all your accepted submissions, but you also have those things that aren't submissions that still need to be part of that schedule block. Stuff like breaks or lunches, or maybe like the post-event parties. Some types of things that you want to put in there, and you can create those additional items and schedule them as well. And that's really a nice feature about the whole scheduling system. So you can go so far as you create all your schedule, you can build everything out, and then we can make that view public so people can come and take a look and see what it looks like in the online schedule. It gives you a comprehensive breakdown saying, oh yeah, here, take a look. This is what's taking place. There's so many different views for this that we have. This is just one of those views. It's got a nice inline filter that you can look for. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm looking for a specific theme. So you can see, oh yeah, here's all these submissions with the theme. And it's all clickable, it's all interactive. You get to see a breakdown of the details. Plus, if that person's a speaker, you can take a look to see if, hey, what other submissions are they speaking in? And this person only has one, as you can see, but that's a nice detail about the schedule. And all this information here is generated based on the information they input as part of that submission process. Now, this kind of goes hand in hand too with the e-poster setup. And that's what's great about the e-poster. The e-poster allows us to take all those ideas that, you usually have that one block of when people can go and see their e-poster. But we've taken that to make it online so that you don't just have that one time of the day when people can go check out the posters. They can come check out that e-poster setup anytime they want because it's online now. Yeah.
Who were, just to, kind of close out this conversation, what are some of the most common sectors, industry sectors that are using this product?
Yep. So we work with a lot of associations. Primarily, the majority of the associations that we work with for the abstract tool are mostly in the medical fields. Lots of different medical groups for their events. This is a great tool because the system is robust enough to allow for as much of that technical detail that's always required for these types of conferences. You can allow the system to collect whatever information that you're looking for. But what's great too is that as part of that submission phase, if you have those corresponding files or documents, like the images for that you're specifically referencing to say, like, yeah, this is an image and this is the image we are investigating, and here you can see where the details are. So you're not just collecting the basic text information, but you can get that comprehensive detail of those images, those files that are used as part of that investigative process to build out that content, to build out that information structure that you need to generate the interest in people attending your conference.
Lastly, integrations. We integrate with our registration product, our virtual portal, but we also integrate with third parties as well, correct?
Absolutely. So we've built a whole API system for our abstract portal, which allows for anybody to collect the information that's been submitted to the system. As long as you set up the proper authentication keys, people can access the details, and you can limit that detail or make it as comprehensive as you need to. So that starts with the abstract submissions, or just the scheduling details, or just the presenter author information. Plus, we go the other way too. So if you're working with a partner for different products that you have, let's say you've got a different contract or supplier to provide an output for just your scheduled details, or for like different app providers too. We integrate with a lot of different app providers. We have our own app that we use, and everything gets directly built into that. But if you happen to use another app provider, we have already a list of app integrations that we connect with automatically.
Bob, this has been a great discussion. I gotta say the abstract component to MyConference Suite is one of the pieces that I get very excited about. It's a clearly distinctive and absolutely necessary product for certain types of conferences and events. So thanks for taking us on this tour, and have yourself a great day.
Thanks, Dave.
If you have any questions regarding MyConference Suite's Abstract Manager, please reach out to us at support@myconferencesuite.com. For information on any of our products, including rentals, please reach out to sales@myconferencesuite.com.